And we're live on YouTube
How you gonna switch? Oh, you have the mouse.
See what I'm doing? Yeah, just a little bit. Perfect. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I gotta remember. Gotta look at the.
All right, baby. Where are we at right now? This is groundbreaking.
Hey, beautiful people. Man, welcome back to Fruitful Sessions. This is our third episode. I'm here with my husband Javier, and we're so excited. Many of you probably can tell that we have not been on for a couple of weeks, but it's all been really for good reasons. We were able to go on a business trip.
Business trip is what they call them.
That's what they call them now.
We don't go on vacations. We only go on business trips.
We go on business trips. So we were able to go on a business trip. God blessed us with a lot of work for our business. So
it was the kind of work, when Jesus had called Peter, was it Peter, John, and James? They were out in the boat.
Yeah.
And Jesus was like, I know y'all been fishing all night, but there's some fish over there. Peter's like, nah, there's no fish over there. He's like, there's fish over there. It was so much fish that the boat started sinking. That's the kind of busy that we've been.
Yeah. It's been a lot, but it's been really good, to the glory of God. And just with everything going on, I know personally for me, I've just been like, just not really trying to be on social media right now. I need to spend some time with the Lord. So, spend some time pouring into my family.
Yeah.
But we're so excited to be back and talking about our topic, which if you're watching the replay of this, we're going to be speaking about our first year being married versus our second year. So for those of you who don't know, Javier and I have been married for 2 years.
Yeah.
As of May. And so we're just gonna, be sharing our thoughts. We don't have anything.
Somebody's
super
commenting.
structured.
I can't hear it though. Somebody's commenting. I can't see it though. You think I should get your laptop?
I think it looks like Juliet. My eyesight is really good, but I can't. I have no.
We're trying to see our comments, but the screen is so far away. We're working on this.
Yes, but hey, I think that's Juliet. Hello.
You have amazing eyesight. If that's who that is.
Yeah, my eyesight is like pretty crazy. But thank you, everyone who's watching and tuning in live. But yeah, babe.
UJ and Tiff. Okay, I see that. That's a very distinct UJ and Tiff right there.
UJ and Tiff. Hey guys.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
So yeah, year one versus year two.
Yes, we've been wanting to talk about this for a very long time. Year one versus year two of marriage. A lot of people don't know our story. We have a lot of stories to tell, and we're gonna use Fruitful Sessions to tell those stories. And we're gonna start with this one: year one versus year two of our marriage.
It's juicy.
We can probably talk about this for hours, babe.
For hours, but we're not. We're gonna try and keep it under 30 minutes. Short and sweet. It was a Thursday. Say that Monday. There was. It's not in the budget. BJ and Tiffany are calling us, that means something is probably wrong. Okay, they can't hear us. Your gain is low.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear us now? Better?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Awesome. Shout out to people who like support you and like will let you know, cause everybody needs that type of friend that like if you have a little crust on your lip, you got a little food.
Yeah, man.
Like I can't trust people who don't say anything to me.
Yeah.
I can't trust them, but maybe they don't feel like that comfortable with you. I don't know. But yeah.
Shout out so you talk to people.
Okay. Praise God. But thanks guys for letting us know. Hopefully you can hear us better now. But essentially what we said is we're going to be talking about our first year of marriage versus our second year. And so what Javer is talking about is essentially on the day that we were, on the day of our wedding, it was projected to be 100% chance of rain. And we did not have it in the budget to buy a tent. So we were like walking in faith. Now we're not those, we're not the people who are like, okay, well, we're going to pray super hard so God is going to do what we want him to do. No, we fully understood and realized like God is all powerful. He is sovereign. And so we know that he hears us and we know that he loves us. So we're going to ask him, but we're also going to trust that his will is best. So we recognize that, if it rained, our guests didn't know this, but we were fully planning on dancing in the rain. Do you remember? We were like, if it rained, our guests are going to dance in the rain. And dang, they was going to eat in the rain too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we were fully prepared to have this wedding in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little spot, like, we don't want to make it seem like we weren't being considerate. There was a little spot that was tucked underneath where the food was that they could have sat down if we really had to. But to be honest, it was really it was completely outside. So the day of the wedding, everybody's like, oh my gosh, like, what's about to happen? And okay.
My mic not working? What? Testing.
Your mic's not working, boo?
That's what he said.
Let's put this in the middle.
Yeah, let's put that in the middle.
And so basically, long story short, the day of our wedding.
Oh, I'm good.
It was sunny. It was beautiful. Beautiful day. Everything went really smooth. There was no drama. It was beautiful, guys. And so we got to marry this amazing man. And it was great. It was a great day. Now, the next day, we did something crazy, y'all. We decided to book our honeymoon for the next day at 7 a.m. Like our flight left
at
7 a.m. So we had no sleep. Imagine, we just come from the wedding. We're going to the hotel. We're trying to get our stuff prepared for this honeymoon. And long story short, we were not knowledgeable about no, I wouldn't say we weren't knowledgeable about birth control, but
no, we said we weren't going to use it.
Yeah, we said we weren't going to use it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true, because we said we were open to using condoms.
Would you consider a condom birth control?
Yeah.
I guess when I think of birth control, I think about the pill.
Yeah.
So we had said we weren't going to use the pill.
Yeah, but we said
we were going to use condoms. Yeah, but okay. So here's the thing.
This went there really fast.
Here's the thing. We were using this application to track Jamie's cycle.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like, yeah, we're going to be pretty confident. We weren't having sex before marriage.
Yeah. No,
that was obvious. We weren't having sex. But we were tracking her cycle to see where she would land as far as our marriage went. Would you be on your cycle during our honeymoon or not?
Yeah.
The app was like, nah, she's not going to be on her cycle. And she's also not fertile. And we went to the honeymoon. We consummated our marriage. And Jamie was pregnant.
Yeah. Long story short,
Jamie was pregnant.
At the end of the day, we came back home and I was pregnant.
We came back home. A mom and a daddy.
By the time we came back home, you know, we knew within a very short amount of time. And not only that, did we come back from our honeymoon essentially parents. Well, not parents, but we knew we were going to be pretty soon after. But we came back from our honeymoon, and 2 days later, we signed off on our house. So we bought a home. And so imagine, you know, you buy a home, you're moving in, you're signing all the paperwork, you're buying furniture, and then 2 weeks later, that's when essentially, after that, 2 weeks later, we confirmed that, you know, we were going to be parents. So just to give you an idea, our first year of marriage, no, not even the first year, our first month of marriage consisted of, okay, this is the first time I'm living with a man. Oh, BT dubs, that man is my husband. This is my first time purchasing a home, having to go through all that. If you guys have been through any classes of psychology, you know some of the most traumatic events in a person's life is when they're moving, you know, weddings, obviously funerals and death. Thank God, you know, we didn't deal with that. And then after that, we find out, you know, we're having a baby. So it was a lot of change, a lot of transition in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, okay. I'll put the chat at the bottom, you see?
Okay.
All right, yeah, man. So we had a baby. Okay, we were pregnant.
Yeah.
We found out we were pregnant within 3 weeks of getting married.
2-3 weeks.
You told him we purchased a home?
I told him we purchased
We purchased a home within 3 weeks of getting married.
No, we purchased a home within 2 days.
Within 2 days of getting married. Mm-hmm. Those are the first two major events that took place very closely, right?
Oh, BT dubs. We're having to move in together for the first time.
Yes.
We're having to
and we just got married.
Other.
Let's not forget that we just got married. We have a child on the way. We just purchased a home, and we're back. Okay, that's the scene that is set. We just got married. We bought a home, and we have a child on the way. This is all things that we know within a week's time.
Yeah, within like 2-3 weeks time.
Right.
And so I think, well, I want to hear from your perspective. So like with all those three things.
To be honest, this was very traumatizing, you know?
It was.
And I feel like we're just sort of coming out of trauma. Like, that is a lot to happen to two people in such a short amount of time. Some people take 5 years to buy a house. Some people take, 10 years to have their first child. Some people take 4 years of being single. You know what I'm saying? Not single, but just a married couple.
Yeah.
And it happened for us
in a very short
amount of time. So I don't even think I fully was able in the moment
to process.
It was just normal.
Yeah.
This is my life. It wasn't. I wasn't thinking like, oh my gosh, this is so tough. It was just like, well, this is just something that's here. I think now in hindsight, I'm like, wow, that was a lot. That was a lot. So it was a lot, and I was carrying a lot. Just as a husband, knowing like, wow, okay, I have a child on the way now. I just got a wife. Now I gotta prepare for a child. I don't really know my wife yet, but now I gotta prepare for a child.
I know.
Everybody gotta come correct.
I know.
Everything has to change.
Man, it was like, I think it was, and I'll probably do another video just like going deeper into my side, but like it was definitely the most traumatic year of my life, and that's saying something. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the most traumatic year of my life. I think. For me, of course, one, I'm trying to learn my new husband. Then finding out I'm pregnant, I was in an utter state of denial.
And then we're still in the first month. We're still talking about the first month right now.
Still the first month, I was in an utter state of denial. And, I do want to consider that a lot of people look at these things and be like, man, these are really good things. Like, you guys got married, you love each other, you guys bought a home. Like, I'm sure a lot of people don't even know that we bought a home and own a home, because it's not something that we like.
We didn't do no social media posts on it.
I did a social media post, but I didn't even plan on really posting. But it was basic.
It wasn't a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
We didn't make it a big deal.
But I know a lot of people might be like, like you guys got married, you bought a home, you had a child. These are all good things, and we praise God for them, and they're all blessings. And we're very thankful. But I think in the moment, if I'm being honest, it was very tough on my psyche, like very tough, because of just the sheer amount of change that was happening so quickly. And I think for me, as a person who was the one who was pregnant, with a lot of hormonal changes, I had never been pregnant before.
Yeah,
this is the first time that I'm sexually active.
I know you just had sex for the first time.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm getting to know my husband, and it was just interesting to me because so much of my hormones, so much of my body, so much of who I am started changing so fast. And you didn't really, it's weird because you never really got to know me as your wife outside of being a mom.
No.
But except for that 9 months that I was pregnant.
9 months.
Which is precious.
Yeah. Like I'm just really now, so this is a year 1, year 2 comparison. This is a hard comparison. Year 1, you were pregnant. Yep. I mean, it's only 9 months, but year 1, my wife was pregnant. You know, we had just gotten married. I only knew you pregnant.
Yeah.
Right? And I think year 2, I'm imagining what I would have experienced year 1 if you weren't pregnant. Not that the pregnancy was bad. Obviously, it was a blessing from God. We love our little Nathan. He's our gift from God.
Oh, yeah.
But year 2, I'm meeting you.
Yeah.
But even still, it's like I'm meeting mom Jamie, right?
I know.
I never got non-pregnant, non-mom. This is my wife Jamie, and I never will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the same way, I've never got
non-dad.
Well, that's not true because for you, it's
for
a
me,
little different.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So first year, but it was different still, right? Because you were pregnant. You know what I mean? There's a lot that comes with being pregnant. So that's a hard contrast. I feel like year 2, I am really getting to know my wife.
Yeah.
My wife, right? And year 1, it was just you were pregnant. And that, you know, I'll talk about year 1. Let me talk about year 1 for me too, right? Yeah. So year 1 for me was very tough because we had just got married. And I mean, I know. What's up, Dina? What's up, UJ? What's up? What was that? Julietta?
Yeah, Juliet.
What's up, y'all, man? Hey, we love y'all in the comments. Keep commenting, whatever. But, you know, we had just gotten married. And for us as Christians, we had kept ourselves until marriage. Mm-hmm. You know, we hadn't had sex. You know, we hadn't had sex. And I was looking forward to having sex. Mm-hmm. Can I say? Right? I was looking forward to having sex. And you were pregnant, though.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I'm married. I can have sex anytime I want. Oh, wait, my wife is pregnant. And for those of you who don't know, when your wife is pregnant, sex is different. You know, sex is very different. It's a very different experience. You know, the frequency is less. It's a lot. So
I was exhausted.
My wife was terribly tired. So, like, it was a difficult season for me as a man and as a Christian. It was just difficult. You know what I mean? I had to really, really humble myself. You know what I mean? And I had to really be on guard too. You know what I mean? Because now I'm more tempted to watch pornography. You know what I mean? And masturbate because I can't have sex with my wife. You know what I mean? My wife's.
Well, we were having.
It's not that we weren't having sex.
But I get what you're saying. It's different. It's just different.
It's different. You know what I mean? It's different. So that was difficult. Year 1. And year 2, that's not the case.
I mean, it wasn't even only that, like having sex and being intimate, but I think also just there are things that you go through in a new relationship, in a new marriage that we were going through. We were figuring out, like, okay, what are our routines? Like, what are the things that we vibe together with, and what are the things that we don't? So simultaneously, as we're learning each other, because you could have dated somebody for 10 years. Once you are married, I believe that things change, right?
Drastically. Depending on how some people are dating, but they basically married.
Yeah, that's
true. You know what I mean? So it depends on how your dating phase was.
True. But for us, it was very different. You know, we're living together, and so I was having to learn you and simultaneously deal with like my own emotions. I'm working full time, you know, I'm pregnant, we're married, so it was a lot. And I think our first year of marriage was probably the most turbulent in terms of like emotions.
Yeah.
You know, like it was very
strong.
emotional. Like we would be like, you know, I remember this one argument we had about like showering. Like that was like one of the first arguments that we had in marriage. It's just like, I shower in the morning. No, I shower at night. I want you to shower when I shower. No, I want you to shower when I shower.
That's unbelievable.
And like looking back, it's like that's obviously
that's unbelievable.
Super petty.
Yes, ultra petty.
But I think what we were communicating beneath the surface, right? You got to look beneath the surface of your arguments was, hey, I want you to. Are you willing to compromise for me? Yeah. I think that's what we were saying. It's like, hey, do you really love me? Like, do you love me enough to sacrifice, you know, what might make you happy for me? And I think obviously at the end of the day, there has to be give and take on both sides. It can't be just, you know, well, the husband gets whatever he wants and the wife doesn't get anything, or the wife get whatever she like. That's why I can't stand. What is that saying? Happy wife, happy life. Happy
wife, happy life. Yeah.
Boy, that saying probably is the reason why we have 50%
year one.
divorce.
I would sum up, because I do want us to get specific about year one. I this will be the last thematic sort of observation that I make of year one. I think year one was us dying to our flesh, right? And when I say dying to our flesh, we were challenged to die to our flesh in a lot of different ways, right? That's year one. You're not an individual anymore, because even when we were recording, we weren't married. So the level of intimacy that we had when we were recording, it was limited. You know what I mean? We weren't as intimate. But when we became one flesh, all that excess selfishness started to get exposed, and the Lord was like, "Yeah, that needs to die. That pride, that needs to die." And I'm not saying it died totally. I'm just saying it really came to the forefront. Like, okay, wow, I really, as a husband, I'll speak for myself, I really have some dying to do. You really got some issues you need to deal with, bro, if you're going to be a successful father, if you're going to be a successful husband, right? In this new season. So I would sum up year one as dying to the flesh. I would sum up year two as serving the Lord, serving one another to the glory of God, right? And partnering. Like year two, we really became partners. Like,
yeah, we really did.
No, we're partners. You know what I mean? Like we are.
It's like
we partners.
It's like if you imagine like a business firm. You know, when you think of like lawyers and someone says I may partner, like that's how it feels like. It's like, no, I help you in your business and you help me equally in my business. And to see how much like both are growing is just like exponential.
And just like not only in business but for one another, like like just me supporting you as a husband, you know, and really covering you and really wanting to see you grow and to see, you know, to see you in good health, to see you in good spirits, and you as my wife, you know what I mean? I think we really took on the role of husband and wife in year two. You know what I mean?
That's a really
so that's the
good
thematic summary, right? Year one, dying to the flesh. Year two, partnership. Year one, let's talk about baby boy is born. Do you want to talk about failure to thrive in year one, or do you just want to keep it based on the marriage? Because that was a huge part of our journey.
Honestly, I think that could be a whole separate video.
I do too. Do you want to at least mention it though?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first year was also especially difficult because we had a baby. We didn't know what we were doing. As many new parents know, there's no manual. And so one thing that happened was, you know, we won't go into detail in this video because we want you guys to check out the next one. We'll talk about that essentially separately. Our child had some health issues. You know, Nathan had some health issues, and they weren't life-threatening, but, you know, it was difficult as parents to navigate through them.
It really was, because like, okay, when you have a child and now you have to care for that child, and now you have to introduce that child into the healthcare system, that's a whole nother journey. You know what I mean? Like the way a lot of people don't go to the doctor nowadays. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
They said the sound changed. They can't hear us.
What do you mean? The sound change.
Oh, I think that was
old. Okay. Yeah. But like when you have a child, you have to introduce him to the healthcare system. You have to introduce him to the pediatrician. And now you're dealing with vaccines. And now you're dealing with, okay, what do we feed? You know, now you're dealing with food allergies. Now you're dealing with eczema. And how you go about that, especially as a believer, it can be tough. You know what I mean? So Nathan was further to thrive. Let's just go straight to the point. Mm-hmm. Nathan was further to thrive. He was not thriving, and we were not sure why. Mm-hmm. And it was a difficult period. Let's start there.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we're gonna talk about it in this.
We don't have to talk about the full thing, but let's just start there because that's a big part of year one.
Okay. So basically, you know, he started off, his weight was normal up until about month 4.
Yes.
And then the doctor's like, hey, his weight is starting to decrease.
Yes. Or it just wasn't growing. He just wasn't growing.
Well, no. He was growing. He was growing in length, but his weight,
yeah.
And so, you know, they're like, oh, you know, we need to try this formula. Maybe he's allergic to this
steroid.
So it was just, they were going through the list of like drugs, prescriptions, you know, all these things. And, you know, Javier is very much so like, hey, are we going to actually get to the root of it, or are we just going to be prescribing him things? Because that's a little bit odd and doesn't seem very logical. Let's try and figure out why. And I understand, you know, medicine is a practice, right? So oftentimes they're like Googling things just like us, you know, and trying to figure out what's going on and trying to get ahead of it. But I think for us, because we're Christians and we're believers, we were just like, okay, we believe that the Lord made the earth. He made food. It's good. There are kids out here in third world countries who are thriving. And so let's take a more natural approach with our son. And so that's what we did, guys. We literally made our son's formula from scratch.
We made our own baby formula.
And our doctor thought we were crazy, but we spent a lot of time, probably like weeks worth of hours, if you were to accumulate all the hours that we spent doing research. But honestly, we would just look at formulas and look at the back because they have the nutrition facts, and we would break down, okay, what does he need to get all of these individual nutrients, the amino acids, the folic, everything. And so we literally found different components, you know, just natural things, and we combine them to make our own formula.
This is supernatural, man.
We combined them to make our own formula, and Nathan started thriving, bro. I mean, just like
to this day.
To this day, yeah.
Sheesh.
He just started thriving to the point where our doctor was like, "Oh, we're doing such a great job," and we're like, "We didn't put him on." We didn't fill any of those prescriptions. We made our own formula. And when she found that out, she was like, let's check his urine. Let's do some blood samples. Everything came back
Everything was straight.
Because at the end of the day, what is medicine based off of? Is based off of food. And obviously they take that into the lab and they, you know, make synthetic things out of it. But that's the original source, right? So we just went to the original source, which ultimately is God.
Yeah.
And so then thankfully once he hit 6 months, that's usually when you start introducing solids. So immediately I was like, he needs avocado because that's a healthy fat, and he also needs sweet potato because that's one of the best complex carbohydrates that you can have. Also, I am a health education major, which doesn't mean that really doesn't mean a lot in the scheme of things. I'm not a nutritionist, dietitian at all. But there are some basic things that I learned that I could apply, you know, to help our son. And you were amazing as well.
What's up, Chris, Jean, Luis? What's good, brother?
Hey, that's my cousin.
Sabrine.
Hey, cuz, Dina. So we continue to give him that formula that we made from scratch, which, by the way, we should probably...
Patent pending, boy.
Patent that.
All natural, vegan formula.
It was a vegan formula. And... we just started feeding him sweet potatoes and avocados. Guys.
Pretty much he grew into a small gorilla.
This kid, literally, it went from, oh, your son might be failure to thrive to, wow, your son is like
He's overweight.
He's overweight. Like he's getting like a little bit like over...
He's huge.
Over the average, yeah.
He was huge.
And so, which, you know, when that was brought up about, you know, him being overweight, we didn't fret because we knew that he had yet to walk,
We just scaled back, We scaled back slightly. And then long story short, man. What's good, Reggie? Marisma, what's good, brother? You know, long story short, that period for us was extremely turbulent. It was.
Yes, it was.
I mean, our child, you know, we just got married. You know what I mean? We got this house. Our child is suffering to some degree. I mean, just imagine what we were going through that first year. And then we still got to love God. You know what I mean? And love people. And I got to go to work every day. You know what I'm saying? So it was an extremely turbulent, extremely traumatic span of time. Oh, by the way, you lost your job.
Oh yeah, that I lost my job in the midst of all that. Essentially, you know, like we don't have to go into details, but I lost my job, and it was something that was difficult for me because I'm the type of person who worked 3 jobs for fun in high school.
Yeah.
Not because I financially needed to, but because
you're a worker.
I enjoy
you're
work.
You're a worker.
You know, so that's a conversation that we had to have, you know, about like, hey, you know, are we gonna, you know, spend half of your salary
on daycare,
or are you going to stay home and, you know, work from home and things like that? But very, very, very turbulent time. And I think you did a good job when you described it as like first year being like dying to self.
Death.
Woo.
Death.
Like, boy, if somebody would have told me, oh yeah, like you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom, shout out to all the stay-at-home moms out there. So much love and respect, because basically I'm one. But like that was not something that I had planned ever.
We hadn't even talked about it.
Like,
we haven't even talked about that in conversation.
We probably had talked about
in courtship.
Yeah,
I don't have a single memory.
Because they had asked us in premarital counseling, like, hey, what are you guys gonna do?
But we were thinking like 5 years down the road. You know what I mean? We done made a bunch of money, and we got, you know, our first child.
So that was not something we were expecting then, which I think it is. Now I can look back and say, wow, Lord, like I'm appreciative for that time, because we would not be here if it wasn't for that season. I would have never started a YouTube channel. We would have never done the things that we are partnering in, all the opportunities that we have now. So it's like, you know how when you hear those sermons and those messages and people are like, yeah, the sacrifice was worth it, the suffering was worth it. Like, and you're like, really, nobody wants to suffer. But like now I realize, wow, all of that suffering is leading to something good.
Yeah.
You know, at least fruitful.
Yeah. Fruitful sessions. Fruitful sessions, man. No pun intended. But yeah, I absolutely agree, babe. We definitely got our scars early. Mm-hmm. I mean, early. We got deep scars early. And it paid off in year 2. Year 1 also, we had to learn how to... I don't think we learned this in year 1. I think we're still learning this in year 2. Mm-hmm. But what do I want to describe here? Unconditional love. The kind of love that suffers through offense. Right? Yeah. The kind of love that doesn't say, all right, I want to quit because you offended me so deeply. You touched this traumatic part. Okay, trauma. That's the word I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. So year 1... I mean, it was almost like you open the storage closet, you turn the light on, and a bunch of roaches start running. Mm-hmm. Like, year 1 exposed all the issues that we had, right? It at least brought it to the surface, right? You know, myself, the traumas that I suffered from just growing up, you know what I mean? The situation I grew up in, and even just how I went about living my life, it really came to the surface when I got married, and it really caused a lot of pain. Right, it really caused a lot of damage. We got to a lot of arguments, really, really bad arguments. You know,
high
emotion arguments. We're saying things we don't mean. We were really, I don't know. We were in self-defense mode, I would say.
Yeah, we were.
I felt like year 1 was very self-preservation. Like, things were so tough, we were just grasping for air. You know what I mean? Like, I want air, and I want to protect whatever piece that I have. And even if you are trying to take it from me, I'm gonna protect myself from you if I have to. Right. So I think year 1 was marked by a lot of that. Yep. As in year 2, there still have been bad arguments in year 2, but I feel like far less arguments and far more reconciliation. Yep. Biblical reconciliation. I feel like we really are starting to understand biblical reconciliation, right? Biblical forgiveness, right? And how to be offended but not exacerbate or escalate to the highest degree. You know what I mean? And we're still learning. Year 2 is not perfect, but year 2 is so much better in that area than year 1.
So much
right?
better.
I would say
significantly.
Yeah.
So and I also think, being that in year 2 our son is older,
yes,
right? So year 1 we had a baby, but we're also like babies ourselves in terms of like marriage. So I think now that Nathan's older, we have more time to like actually enjoy each other. It's just like everything is getting better. And so I think that would be my encouragement for anyone who's like newly married out there, is like, give it time. Give it time.
Yeah, give it time, man. Give it time. And not only give it time, understand that marriage is a marathon.
Yeah.
You know, you're not getting married for your first year of marriage to be the best one of your life.
Facts.
You're getting married to understand. You're getting married with the understanding that I'm going to be with this person until they die.
Yep.
Right? That is
love.
That's the covenant that we initiated, right?
Yeah.
So I think I have that mentality now more than I did in year 1, where I understand this is my wife and I'm going to be with her as long as I'm alive.
Yeah.
And let me make that experience for her one that we can rejoice in before God in heaven, but also let me make it one that's pleasant for myself. You know what I mean? And my child, you know what I mean? And my family. So that's why I say year 2. Let's talk about year 2. We spent a lot of time on year 1.
Well, we're approaching 45 minutes now.
Are we?
Yeah. So let's talk about, you want to talk about year 2?
So what, we got 15 minutes? You want to do an hour?
Okay, we'll go ahead and...
So we're going to do 15 more minutes, and we're going to talk about year 2.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about in year 2?
Partnering with your spouse.
Okay, so
to build your future.
To build your future.
To build the future together. Building a future together with your spouse, hand in hand, back to back.
One thing that I will say that I noticed like within the last couple of weeks is that there were things that I was praying about like year 1 that I'm just now seeing the fruit of. And I'm like so thankful that I never stopped praying. Like even when I was like, I don't even know if I want this, but I continued to pray because I knew it was like good things to pray and ask God for. And it's like now, you know, things like, okay, Lord, like I want my husband to, you know, work from home full time, work for himself, and like to start seeing like
that sort of manifest.
We're actually seeing, wow, we have the ability to work
to do it
full time for ourselves.
The mindset shift, right? I think that's also been a huge thing in year 2. Like our mindset shifted. Like we had certain goals year 1 that were more dependent on other people, right? More dependent on our jobs, more dependent on just all these different elements that weren't our own selves and our faith. I think year 2, our mindsets have changed. We're investing in ourselves. We're believing God to guide us into the future that we think he has for us, right? So what's that? Entrepreneurship, right? Generational wealth, you know, serving God, serving the next generation, right? Unto God, right? Helping the next generation. All these things are sort of manifesting in year 2, or at least the foundations of these things are like very solid. And it's like, hey, just keep working on that. 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it'll be there. Willing, you know?
Like I would say year 2, like the vision is becoming more clear. Do you get what I'm saying? Like there are some people who like they already know in their head like, okay, this is the vision, and they're running. I think for us, it's like our family vision is forming almost right before our eyes. It's like like a building is being built, but like brick by brick, we're getting a better understanding of
every season. Every season, it's like that was very clear. That's definitely what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
You know, even something like this, Fruitful Sessions, right? This is a culmination. You know what I mean? We didn't just think about this last week and just, all right, babe. This is a culmination of our story. This is a culmination of our gifts, of our talents, and it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. And I think, just one core part of it is like our faith, like us wanting to serve Jesus. Like that's a desire that we've had for a long time, and recognizing that for us, we're not saying this for everyone, for us, we saw that with our gifts and our talents, we really wanted to do that like in our own way, like without being held down by like an employer or someone else. Because we have so many creative gifts and talents that I think we can uniquely use in our business setting, so to bring glory to God. So
yeah. All right, babe. Well, I think this was a good episode. Hot take style. Year 1 versus year 2. Guys, this is Fruitful Sessions. We do have a podcast. You can actually type in Fruitful Sessions podcast. We never launched it, but it exists and it's there. Definitely follow the podcast. We got 1 episode up. This episode, probably our last one. We didn't record it, did we?
Our last one?
Yeah,
we did.
We recorded it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to add the most recent 2 episodes to the podcast. But our goal, pray for us. We really need prayer. Our goal is every Monday. We're gonna say approximately 8:30. Okay, we got kids. Well, we got a kid.
We have 1 kid.
We got one kid,
child.
but he's like mini. So we're gonna try every Monday at 8:30. If not 8:30, we might be 9. If not 9, might be 9:30. But we gonna be here, Lord willing, every Monday, right?
Lord willing.
So where can they find us, boo? Well, where can they find you and me?
You can find us on IG. You can find me at Jamie J Edwards. You can find Javer at Javer B or Elray Studios. And of course on YouTube at Jamie J Edwards, and Facebook, the same exact names. And also make sure that if you are watching on YouTube that you comment down below, what would you like to see us talk about next time?
Yes. Topics.
Give us some ideas of what you'd like to see in terms of marriage, having a child, courting, dating,
Blackness, entrepreneurship,
really
the Bible.
Anything. Let us know, because that's what these Fruitful Sessions are for. The intersectionality of faith and culture. And also make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah, follow Jamie J's page. She's going to be launching at some point. And turn on the notifications so that when we go live, you can actually just pick up your phone and start watching. But please submit topics. What do you want to hear about? We know what we want to talk about. We're going to talk about it, but we would love to engage with you guys and talk to points and talking points that you guys want to hear about. So yeah, this is Fruitful Sessions, guys. We love you.
Bye.
Goodbye.